chapter 4, I should say. Let's start verse 1. Chapter 4, verse 1. All right. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. Follow along with the story, okay?
And Adam knew Kuah his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yah.
Now stop. Somebody said, she just said who? The name is Eve, not Kuah. Okay, just so you can comprehend, so you can be on the same page with us, right? The word Eve is not in the Hebrew text. That was not her name. Her name is Kuah, which means life giver. Hawa. That's the name that Adam named her. Its name Eve came somewhere else from the European translation. Okay, Eve actually is Rhea, which is the Mother Earth goddess. All right, let's continue. Go ahead.
And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yah. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And Yah had respect unto Abel and his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
Okay, so now here we see in verse 4, Abel and Cain both bringing an offering, right? This is the word mincha, which means a portion that is bestowed, a donation, a tribute, an offering. And it says bloodless, usually bloodless, right? So, who taught them how to offer an offering? So Abel and Cain was before Noah, before Moses, but they knew about the offering of the fruit, right? I don't want to go there because I don't want to take you. We're going to show you in another lesson where they were permitted to give offerings, right, of the grain, the meat grain, as well as the livestock, right? So I wanted to show you that so you could see that before there was a Moses, there were people offering sacrifices. I think Noah was another one. Didn't Noah offer a sacrifice? Hold on a second. Let me see. Hold on one second. Okay, so that's Genesis 8:20. Just so you can see that Noah is another one. This is Genesis 8:20. So this is before Moses. Before there was a Moses, there was a Noah, and Noah offered a sacrifice, right? So Genesis 8:20. What does that say? Let's bring it up on the screen. Okay, you got it?
Mm-hmm. And Noah builded an altar unto Yah, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings on the altar.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Noah?
And he also knew about clean animals and unclean animals.
Wait, but elaborate on that a little bit. Y'all hear that? You hear what she said?
Yeah, so and I brought that up because of the dietary laws of the sanctified diet.
So that's a good point, right?
So he had a knowledge of animals that were clean and animals that were unclean. Certain animals are considered unclean, and we should not eat them.
But notice he didn't offer any unclean animal as a burnt offering.
That's right.
So who taught him that? Right. So Noah offered clean beast and clean fowl, right, as a burnt offering. Where was Moses? Moses wasn't even a thought. But here we see Noah. Who taught Noah? We can show it to you in other books. Noah was taught by his grandfather, Methuselah. And Methuselah taught Enoch. And say Enoch walked with Yah. Well, we read that, but what does it mean to walk with Yah? We showed you that last week. To walk in his ways, to keep his commandments, to keep his law, statute, just like Abraham did. It said in 26:5, Abraham obeyed Yah. He kept his law, statutes, and commandments before there was a Moses. So that debunks the theory that Abraham didn't have laws and statutes and commandments. So his covenant that was given to him also included keeping the commandments. That's why the Most High told Abraham, walk before me and be thou perfect, right? What is walking before him? Being perfect is same thing that he did when he offered Isaac as a sacrifice, walking perfect before Yah, dying to the flesh, yielding to Yah's law, which is spirit. Yah's law is not carnal, right? We're going
worshiping in obedience. And I heard a song that they say, "Come, let us worship Yah in the beauty of holiness." But a lot of times that means coming and worship, lifting your hands, as we said before, dancing before Yah. That's not what worshiping him in the beauty of holiness is. It's walking in obedience to his laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's good. So basically, we're not saying is anything wrong with you dancing, singing, clapping, and all that. We do that. But that's the shadow of the true worship. That's the physical reaction to the spiritual impartation. That's what the Greek word grace means. The divine influence upon the heart that reflects in the life. That is the true worship. That's what the Messiah said to the woman at the well, right? He said, the hour is coming and is now that the true worshipers will do what?
Worship in spirit and in truth.
Ah. How is that spirit? We know what the spirit is now. Total consumption of the flesh. And what is that truth? Walking in obedience. Consuming the flesh to walk in obedience. Right? That's the spirit and truth. The Messiah said his words is spirit. Shaul said the law is spiritual. Right? So now we've learned today that Noah offered a burnt offering of clean animals before there was a Moses. All right. Now I'm going to take you somewhere so you can see now that what is being taught in what is called the New Testament, the repetitive teaching is wrong. We're going to show it to you right now. All right. So what I want to do is let's go to Galatians. I think that's where I want to go. I love Galatians. Galatians chapter 3. All right. What's that in the Hebrew? What do they call Galatians? Is it that in the scriptures they have a name for all in the New Testament books? Somebody know. All right. So Galatians chapter 3 and I'm not going to make this a dissertation of the whole third chapter because I did a lesson on that on our channel. But let's skip down to verse 15. All right, so Galatians chapter 3, We can start at verse 15, right? Galatians chapter 3, verse 15. All right.
Brethren, I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet it be confirmed, no man disannulleth or added thereto.
What does that mean? Visa said Galatine. I think that's right. All right, so I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannul or added to it. Okay, so what is he saying? He's saying that this covenant is not a man's covenant. All right.
Okay, because he's saying,
right,
if it be
right,
but a man's covenant.
So that's going to debunk the whole lot, because this is not Israel's covenant. So you can't leave anybody out. We're gonna show you some stuff in a minute. Stay right there. Don't touch that dial, as they say. All right. So let's continue.
Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. He saith not unto seeds as of many, but as of one, and of thy seed, which is the Messiah.
Right. Stop. Now we said a lot right there. That's a lot. His seed were the promises made. He says not seeds, plural, right? As many, but as one, and to his seed, Abraham's seed, right? The Mashiach, who is what? Yeshua the Messiah. See that? So Abraham, even though Yeshua existed before, right? He existed in the beginning, was the Word, but he became flesh and became the seed of Abraham. So the promise was to the seed, singular, not seed, plural, right? You can't be in the covenant of another seed, is what he's saying. There's only one seed, only one promise. And it's not man's covenant, it's Yah's covenant with man, with Abraham. All right? Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
And this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of Yah in Yeshua the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect.
Okay, stop there. So, what's commonly believed is that this law is talking about the law of Moses. So we've already proved to you that this is not talking about the law of Moses, because the laws of sacrifice predated Moses, right? So when he said the law that came 430 years cannot disannul, the seed, Yeshua, the seed, right? So Yeshua had a purpose in coming, and we're going to show it to you, right? His purpose in coming was connected to the promise made to Abraham. Because the Most High knew that the covenant that he made with the seed that came out of Egypt was going to be broken. And what covenant was that? We covered that last Shabbat. That covenant has nothing to do with the law of Moses. The covenant, the promise the Most High made. Let's go back for a second. Hold your finger there. Let's go back to Genesis 12, I think it is. Okay, 17. All right. 17, start at verse 1. Verse 1.
And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, Yah appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty Yah. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and Yah talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
Stop. So we see something here. So whose covenant is it? The Most High said it's my covenant, right? And that's what Shaul said. He said it's not man's covenant, it's Yah's covenant. So when you comprehend that is Yah's covenant, not man's covenant, not Israel's covenant, not the Hebrews' covenant, not the Jews' covenant, not the Christians' covenant, but it is Yah's covenant, then you cannot dictate how the covenant is to be carried out. Why? Because you didn't make the covenant. Woo! My dad used to say, tell the devil to put that in his pipe and smoke it. Yah made the covenant, so if he made the covenant, he dictates to you what you must do to be in the covenant with him, and it's not the other way around. You all keep cutting out, she said. Anybody have audio problems? Our cousin's saying we keep cutting out. Is my mic too loud or something? All right. Okay. Please let us know if anybody else is having audio problems. It could be on another end. All right. Sometimes I get a little excited. Maybe I'm too close to the mic. If that's what it is, let me back up a little bit. Okay, so he said, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. So now that's basically explaining what? One seed. Because if Abraham was promised to be a father of many nations, so he would be considered what? The father of the multitude, which everybody that came as a result of the promise had to come and become his seed, whether it be naturally or whether it be adopted, right, through the covenant, right? All right, let's continue.
Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee.
Let's stop for a second. Now, they're saying, maybe lift your mic up, they're saying you're low. Just raise it up to where it's not blocking your view, but yeah, you can. Because it's unidirectional. Okay. Is it tight? Look like it's slipping. Okay. All right. Okay. So now, what was my point I was making? I will make what verse did you just read?
5 and 6.
Okay. So it says, he said, I will make you the father of many nations. So now, the cultic Hebrew Israelite teaching is that this salvation for Israel only. That is straight wrong, because this has nothing to do with Israel. It has to do with Yah making a covenant with Abraham, right? And he said, I will make you the father of many nations, but that all those nations that are under you are under one seed, not many seeds. That's why the prophet Yoshiyahu said, let not the stranger say that Yah has separated me from his people, because you can't have a covenant without Yah's people.